Maha.
Imaha.
Maha.
All these.
All these.
All these.
Raja.
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 Living entities.
Living
The
entities.
entity.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Varnashankara is unwanted population which disturbs the peace of the general society. In order to check this social disturbance, there are prescribed rules and regulations by which the population can automatically become peaceful and organized for spiritual progress in life. When Lord Krishna descends, naturally he deals with such rules and regulations in order to maintain the prestige and necessity of such important performances. The Lord is the father of all living entities, and if the living entities are misguided, indirectly the responsibility goes to the Lord. Therefore, whenever there is general disregard of the regulative principles, the Lord Himself descends and corrects the society. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footstep of the Lord, we will still have to remember that we cannot imitate Him. Falling and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting Govardhan Hill, as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instruction, but we may not imitate him at any time. The Srimad Bhagavatam 10.33.30 to 31 affirms, नेतत् समाचरे चातो मनसा प्रियनीश्वरः विनश्यन्ति आचरन् मोत्याः यथा रूढोऽपि चं विषम् ईश्वराणां वचा सत्यं तथैवाचरितं क्वचित् तेषां यस्वावचो युक्तं बुद्धिमान् सत्समाचरेत्. One should simply follow the instruction of the Lord and his empowered servants. The instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their action. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in imitation of Lord Shiva. We should always consider the position of the Ishwaras, or those who can actually control the movements of the sun and the moon, as superiors. Without such power, one cannot imitate the Ishwaras, who are super powerful. Lord Shiva drank poison to the extent of swelling an ocean. But if any common man tries to drink even a fragment of such poison, he will be killed. There are many pseudo devotees of Lord Shiva who want to indulge in smoking ganja and similar intoxicating drugs, forgetting that by so imitating the act of Lord Shiva, they are calling death very near. Similarly, there are some pseudo devotees of Lord Krishna who prefer to imitate the Lord in his Rasa Leela or dance of love, forgetting their inability to lift Govardhan Hill. It is best, therefore, that one not try to imitate the powerful, but simply follow their instruction. Nor should one try to occupy their post without qualification. There are so many incarnations of God without the power of the Supreme Godhead. So I'll just read the translation one more time. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all this world would be put into ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living entity. So, Varna Shankara, can anybody help me out? When did we read about the Varna Shankara and what did we read about? Just your inputs on that, because this is not the first time we are hearing, right? Varna Shankara, where we read it, which chapter? We are in third chapter. Which chapter?
Second chapter we read Varna Sankara Karaka, that verse.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, I think might be in the second chapter, but Arjuna puts the what you call it's out in the first chapter also, like regarding the Varna.
And also in the first chapter, Varna Shankara is there.
Yeah, so first chapter it is there. So here what we are discussing so far in the third chapter, these 22, 23, and this is the 24th verse series in where Lord Krishna says that he also performed the prescribed duty. So yesterday also we were hearing the class, day before all, yesterday also we were hearing the class since Krishna is supreme, why does anyone perform the prescribed duty? Anyone would like to answer that? Why does anyone have to perform the prescribed duties?
Because according to the Vedas, that is
Sorry, Mataji.
expected.
No, I didn't get you. Can you repeat again?
Because according to the Shastras, that is expected.
Yeah, actually, yes. So we have to perform this prescribed duty because we are in want of something. So, but in Krishna's case, it is different, right? Krishna is Atmaram. Krishna doesn't want anything. Yesterday also, Pyare Prabhu was explaining that he is in, we also know he is Bhagwan and he is full of all six opulences. So he doesn't need anything. And he doesn't entangled in karma like us, right? So he doesn't need to perform. Although he doesn't need to perform the prescribed duty, from the last three verses, Krishna is saying, I also do this to show the example. Because the 21st verse he said, Yajat Achrit Tata Shreshthas. So, however, a leader do the work, common men follow. So, in the same line, and he gave the example of Janaka Maharaj, he also doesn't have to do the prescribed duty, but he also nonetheless he does it to show the other people. So here also Krishna is continuing the same theme in the 24th chapter, stating that if I do not perform this duty, then all the world will be put in ruination and I will be the cause of their destruction. And somehow Prabhupada also says in the purport, since he's the father of all the living entity, somehow or other he can be held responsible for creating so much havoc in the society. So let us talk about the Varna Shankara first here in this verse. If just to remind us, Arjuna has put this argument. I'll just read out the words. अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्णा प्रदुष्यन्ति कुला स्त्रियात् स्त्रीषु दुष्टाषु वर्णस्य जायते वर्णशंकरा. So Krishna is here is giving the example, is giving the explanation. Krishna is directly saying opposite what Arjuna has said. If you remember, what Arjuna has said is, if I fight, so what will happen if I fight? All these elders will be killed and there will be no one to protect the dharma, and the woman of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of the womanhood comes the Varna Shankara, unwanted progeny, which we do not want in the society. So that kind of progeny. So if I'll read the translation exactly, when religion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the woman of the family becomes polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. And the next verse he says, Shankaro narka eva kulaghanam kulascha cha patanti pitro yesham lupta pindodakah kriya. What will happen? If I'll fight, all this thing will happen. After that, what will happen as a result of this? There will be a hellish life, because this unwanted population, this Varna Shankara has been increased in the society, and it is causing the hellish life for all the family members, and the complete family tradition is destroyed. And the ancestors of such family, what will happen? They will fall down, because there will be no one who will be doing all these rituals of offering them pinda, right? So that thing will entirely drop. So Arjuna says that if I fight, then it will happen. Here rather what Krishna is saying, that if you do not fight, if you do not perform your prescribed duty, then the Varna Shankara, so directly opposite. If I say white, then Krishna is saying black. So Arjuna is saying white and Krishna is saying black. So directly opposite, he is saying if you do not fight, because what's the Arjuna's position? We have also heard in the class that he is a warrior, he is a fighter, and his prescribed duty is to fight. His prescribed duty is not to leave the battlefield and go away and beg and meditate. His prescribed duty, whenever he is challenged for the fight, there was a fight on the same day, this instruction has been given to him. So he has to fight. Rather he should die in the battle, rather than going away or showing the back to the opponent, right? So that also we have discussed in the first chapter. So here How it will happen? Because the prescribed duty has not been done. See, if the leader is not doing his prescribed duty, then the follower will not do. And Arjuna is also kind of a leader, and he should show by example so that other person can follow. If he doesn't do, then all of the person will be get into ruination. They will not do their prescribed duty, and they will not follow any rules and regulation, and because of that, this Varna Shankara will happen. So Krishna, continuing his theme from the last two verses, saying, if I do not prescribe, then this world will be put into ruination. So sometime we see that Krishna definitely he does prescribe, as he has come in this material world, appeared, and he also had, his this householder life. Like he's remaining like a ordinary, obviously not an ordinary householder, but he's showing like he has 16,000 wife. Not, he was not living ordinary household, but he was showing that he was a householder. So he was doing his duties in the household, right? He was doing the duty as a king, he was doing a duty as a friend. So here, but sometime we see, right, that Krishna is doing some activities which are not in accordance of the shastras. Would anybody would want to tell me why Krishna does like that? And sometimes you also get a question, why Krishna danced the gopis, so many gopis? Couldn't he just, or couldn't he marry just one? And, otherwise people will question you so much. You're Krishna's devotee, like that. So anybody would want to tell me the why Krishna does like that? Here he's saying that he does the prescribed duties. And rather, in the other places, we see that Krishna also danced with the gopis. Krishna also does something that maybe we can consider from a material point of view as immoral. Would anybody want to tell me what their understanding is on that?
My understanding in the question is that you're asking why Krishna does like this, because for telling us we have to behave and do our prescribed duties.
Yeah, but why does he dance in the rasa dance with so many gopis, with so many?
For fulfilling the gopis' desires.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wants to add anything? Okay, so because Prabhupada, if you have, if listen, when I was reading, Prabhupada talks about the Rasa Leela, right? And there is a difference between the imitation and follow. We can follow in the footstep of the great personalities, but we cannot imitate. Like we cannot try to imitate that. And we'll talk about all the examples which Prabhupada gives. But let us first discuss this very why does Krishna does that? There are two reasons. One reason is Krishna wants to please his devotee, and he doesn't care. Like us, we will care about image so much, right? We care about somebody should not criticize us. But for Krishna, he is ready to be criticized. Rather, what he will prefer is he will prefer to satisfy and fulfill the desire of his dearmost devotees. And we know the gopis are the highest dearmost devotees of the Lord. So if we remember also, in when Rama recently we have celebrated Rama Navami. When Rama went to this Dandakarayana forest, there were these sages. And these sages were so much because Lord is so beautiful. So these sages were attracted by Lord Rama. And when these sages were attracted, they got this desire to serve the Lord in the conjugal or the Madhurya Bhav, Madhurya Ras. So, but the Lord cannot. He has taken Ekapatni Vrata when he came in the Treta Yuga as Maryada Purushottam Dham. But he said, definitely, when I will appear again in Dwapar Yuga as Krishna, then I'll fulfill your desires. So that's why some gopis were called the Rishichari gopis. Those were the same rishis which Lord Rama has promised in the Treta Yuga. And also, second reason is, the first reason is to please the devotees, it is dearest devotees, and the second reason is Lord want to show us that look, avajananti manamuda manushim tanum ashritam. So what does the Lord say in the ninth chapter? He says that I am the fools consider me as, because since I have taken the human form, human body, they consider me that I am one among them, but they do not know param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. I am the lord of all the planets. They do not know. So just to show ourself, or whoever is intelligent will understand that even though the Lord is appearing between us as a human being, he is not at all a human being. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. To show the example, like Prabhupada talks about Govardhan Hill. Like none of us were to talk about the childhood. We cannot ever in our life hold the Govardhan Hill or anything, just for that matter, for 7 days like that. So, so the Lord want to show us that even though He is appearing as between us and coming to this material world, He is nonetheless the supreme. We should understand His position like that. So to show His pastime as being a supreme Lord. So these were the two reasons. So this very wonderful question has been asked. Parikshit Maharaj is a very great listener, and he also is one of the Acharya of hearing, Shravana. And he asked this wonderful question: what happens when Sukdeva Goswami is narrating these pastime? Especially at the in the 10th canto, this rasa dance pastime has been told, and you remember all the sages, not even Parikshit Maharaj was hearing. There were so many sages which have gathered when they have heard that Parikshit Maharaj have come to the bank of Gangas to listen, and Sukdev Goswami is narrating. So they were all not the pure devotees. They were, some were gyanis, some were simple renunciants, but not all were the pure devotees of the Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj asked this very wonderful question. So he says, Shri Parikshit Uvacha Samstapanaya Dharmasya Parasam Yenatra Cha Avati no hi Bhagwan Amsena Jagatishvara सा कथं धर्मसेतूनां वक्तकर्ताभिरक्षितः प्राप्तिपामचरात् ब्रह्मन् परादाराभिमर्शनाम्. So what he's saying, Parikshit Maharaj is saying that how do I understand, after this rasa dance has been described by the law, by Sukdev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj is a pure devotee. He could understand these dealings are on the spiritual platform, not on the platform of the material mundane world of so-called lust. Right? So he could understand that these are the spiritual dealings of the devotee and the Lord. But he could sense that these are some of the sages, they are bewildered and thinking how Lord Krishna can perform this so-called immoral act. It was not at all. This is the highest love in the spiritual world. So like that. So that's why he's putting this question for all of us to understand, as well as by the sages. So he says, "O Brahmana, the supreme personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, has descended." So why does Krishna come? Paritrana sadhunam vinashacha duskritam dharma samstapna arthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So he comes to establish the principles of religion, right? So here he asks, why does the Lord come? He has descended to this earth along with his plenary portion to destroy the religion and to establish the religious principle. Then he says, then if you remember this word dharma setunam means a bridge. So he, like, we can say that this material world is like a torrents of like ocean, like waves of oceans. But this, if we build a bridge on top of it, a dharma bridge, a religious bridge, then we can cross it over easily. So he comes to reestablish the religion principle. Then and indeed we know that he is the speaker. Vakta means speaker, karta means he is the follower of the religion, and abhirakshita means what? Abhirakshita means he is the guardian of the of these religious principle. Then he says, then how then could he have violated them? So how he is saying, to get us understand, or to get all these the sages who are getting the doubts in the mind about the Lord's activity. So he's saying, how can para dara bhi Sparshanam, we know that touch. So how can paradara, para means the other's wife, how can the Lord violate the religious principle by touching the wives of others man? Like that, this is a question, very, very profound question put by Parikshit Maharaj to Sukdev Goswami. And he also says, आप्तकामो यदुपतिः कृतवान् वहेजुगुष्पितः किम् अभिप्रायैत नः संशयां चिन्तिषु व्रतः. So he is asking the another question. O faithful upholders of vows, please destroy our doubt by explaining to us what purpose the self-satisfied Lord, he's the Atma Rama, and what purpose the self-satisfied Lord of the Yadu had in mind when he behaved so contemptibly. Like that, he's putting this question to Sukdev Goswami. And very wonderfully, Sukdev Goswami answers this question. You also have to understand, because when sometimes the Lord do this activity, what is the purpose? Two reasons we understood today. And then Sukdev Goswami answers that in the 33rd chapter, 29 verse. Shri Shukha uvacha dharma vyakti karmo drishta ishwaranam cha sahasaham tejasyaham na doshaya varne sarva bhujo yatha. So very wonderfully answered by Shukdev Goswami when he says, Dharma Vyakti Karmaha means, Yati Karmaha means to think that there is a transgression of religious principle, right? So the religious principle has not been followed properly, and rather it has not followed and transgressed the laws, like the transgress the laws of the society or transgress the laws of the God, religion. So that drishta, even if it is seen Ishwaranam, we have to understand who the position of Ishwaranam, powerful controllers. So Ishwaram, can anybody tell me who all can be considered in the category of Ishvara? Who can be considered in the category of Ishvara?
Brahma and Shiv.
Sorry, Mataji.
Brahmaji and Shivji.
Yeah, Brahmaji, Shivji, all these demigod, they are also Ishwar. This Indra is also Ishwar, and Soma is also Ishwar. Thank you, Mataji. So these demigod also. Somebody saying something? So these are also.
That was Tulsi.
Okay, you want to say something, Tulsi?
Yeah, I said Indra.
Okay, thank you. So these powerful demigods who are the Ishvara or the controller of, they are the controller. The more or less they are the small controller, because Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. But Param Ishwar, according to Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji writes, Param Ishwar is Krishna. Okay, there may be multiple Ishwars, but who is the Param Ishwar? Who is the Ishwar? Devadi Dev, right? He's Lord Krishna. He's the god of all these gods also. But here even just for the Ishwar also, he is not, Sukdev Goswami is pointing out for the Ishwaranam, this powerful controller. Even if this has been seen from our point of view that they are not following this religious rules. So what he is saying, sahasam means audacity. They are having this audacity to transgress the laws of the religion or the moral principle. We should understand that their level is higher. Like how they are Tejasyanam, they are spiritually potent, they are very potent. And if they transgress, what happens, this transgression, right, it should have some karma or the action, right, that doesn't destroy their position. Like the example has been given, I'll just read out the translation first. The status of powerful controllers is not harmed by any apparent audacious transgressions of morality we may see in them, for they are just like fire. So vahane means the fire. Fire example has been given here, which devours everything fed into it and remains unpolluted. So the example has been given that their position has not been destroyed. How the fire act, if you put the garbage in the fire, does you think the fire is getting contaminated because of the garbage? No, the fire is purified. It's unpopulated, it's unpolluted. Rather, it cleans up. It will destroy all that fire. So that's their position. So that has been mentioned here. And then he says, Netet samachare chatu manasa piyanishvara vinashyanti achiran motyat vatha rudro abhijam visham. So very, very wonderful example has been given about Rudra, Lord Shiva, and Prabhupada also talks about it in the purport about Lord Shiva. You remember when we read the last purport paragraph of the purport. So here it has been said, one who is not a great controller should not imitate the behavior of ruling personalities, even mentally. If out of foolishness an ordinary person does imitate such behavior, he will simply destroy himself, just as a person who is not Rudra would destroy himself if he tried to drink an ocean of poison. So what happened, right? Just to give you an example about the Samudra Manthan. So Samudra Manthan happened. This churning of the ocean, churning of the milk ocean, and there were Mandara mountain that has been used as a churning rod. Vasuki, the snake, has been used as a rope, right? As a rope to churn that. And one side was demigod, and other side was devatas. Sorry, demigods and the demons, the Danavas. So does anybody remember how does the Lord supported this Samudra Manthan? Which incarnation does he took at that time? Because they were not able to do it and they approached the Lord. So what did
Ram.
No.
Become a tortoise.
Yeah, Kurma. So he became a tortoise. So he supported the Mandara mountain like as a base. In the down as a base so that it doesn't sink. So he supported that, and Lord was feeling like itching at the back, and somebody is nicely massaging his back like that. He could hold that weight also. So Lord is unlimited. And also Ajit incarnation he took, where he sat on top of the mountain so that the top will not wobble when they will try to churn that. So first came this halahal poison, and when this halahal poison came, the ocean, it was not just a small drop of the poison, it was complete complete ocean was there, and it's just coming out like that. And then these people, they have approached the Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva, being the powerful Vaishnava, the powerful personality, powerful Ishvara, what he did was he just took all that poison and converted it in just a palm full of poison. So first of all this great quantity he was able to subdue it to the quantity which could be hold in his palm, and then he drank that poison. And then he was so powerful that he could just doesn't allow that poison to go down in his body. He just stopped it at the neck, and that's why the Lord is also called Neelkant. He has a blue throat because he has drank this what you call halal poison out of this churning. So even if we try to imitate the Lord's activity, then do you think that we are able to drink this poison? We cannot. Even if we just drink a drop of the poison, then also we cannot be alive. We have to die. So similarly, Lord Krishna's activities. So these are the example. I wanted to read these words because this gives us a proper example that sometimes, okay, Lord doesn't behave as his prescribed duty, but that is his position is entirely different. And two reasons we are talked about, and also the question and answer by Sukhdev Goswami. So here also our Acharya says that when Lord danced with his gopis, who looks like to be the so-called wives of other person, but they are Lord's energy. They are the Lord's internal energy. Radharani and Krishna is not different, and Radharani expanded to all these gopis to enhance the pleasure of the Lord, because what is her seva? She wants to enhance the service of Lord Krishna. So this example has been given by our Acharya that the Lord's activity or dancing of in the rasa dance is like a child playing in the mirror with their images like that. And so we should not, we should understand this philosophical point why Lord did that. And he want to also, one more point want to add, one name of Krishna is Asama Urdhva. So no one is equal to Krishna and no one is greater than Krishna. So he also want to talk about that, or show to the world that okay, nobody is equal to me or greater than me. And also I have heard that Prabhupada says sometime, if somebody want to imitate the Lord's activity of about like the rasa dance, like I'll be having so many girls around me and I'll be doing rasa dance like Krishna. But Prabhupada says that first Krishna performed the this Govardhan Puja, right? This Govardhan Puja, he has lifted this Govardhan hill at the age of 7. First you lift the Govardhan hill, then you dance with all these girls if you want to imitate the Lord. But he cannot, rather he cannot lift the Govardhan hill, so you should not dance with the other girls also. Like you cannot imitate one activity and you're not able to do the other activity. So like that also the he says here, the Lord says. And also we have to understand sometime, like as Govardhan Hill name came, this point came into my mind, that when Nanda Maharaj was performing this Govardhan Puja, Lord Krishna, he could not understand what this festivity is all about, and he reached his father Nanda Maharaj to ask, "What is this all about? Please tell me." So, Baba, please tell me. So, Nanda Maharaj sent him to Yashoda. Yashoda said, "No, I'm very busy. You go to your Baba and ask." Then finally, he hold the hand. You have to tell me what you are doing, like that. So, then Nanda Maharaj says that since we are, we depend on these fields, and we get this grains from the field, then we have to get the rain. And rain, who is the rain controller? Is Ishvara, who is the Ishvara of the Varsha or the rain, is Indra. So from our from our ancestor, they were doing this Indra Yagna, Indra Puja, to satisfy the Indra demigod, to satisfy Indra, Lord Indra, and then he will send us sufficient rain so that our life will go on smoothly. So like that, then Lord speak. If you remember, Lord speak there Karma Mimamsa philosophy. That's, anybody know what is Karma Mimamsa philosophy? Just like what's their thought on that Karma Mimamsa philosophy? Because Lord speak this philosophy.
Do work and enjoy fruit.
Do work and enjoy fruit. Okay, so do we have to accept the authority of Ishvara in Karma Mimamsa or no?
Yes.
Okay, so partially you're right. Karma Mimamsa philosophy is where the Lord says that because somehow or other he wanted to convince Nanda Maharaj to do not perform this Indra Yagna, but to perform the Govardhan Puja. So he says his philosophy, Karma Mimamsa, where he says, this karma, because we are doing the karma, we are getting the fruits. And we should not accept the authority of the Ishvara because he cannot do anything. Whatever we do, we will get the fruit, right? Like that he says. So Karma Mimamsa philosophy, even though the Lord speak, but we should not hear that because sometimes it contradicts the Shastras. Similarly, the case of Buddha. Buddha, we accept him as in Krishna, but we don't accept the Buddha's philosophy. Does anybody know why we don't accept the Buddhist philosophy, even though Buddha is Lord Krishna himself? Any thoughts on that? Why can't we take Buddha's instruction in our life? Because he's also Dasha Avatara, right? Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadishare. Jayadev Goswami writes about him in Dasha Avatara Sutra.
Because he follows impersonalists.
Yeah, because this is Buddhist philosophy is the atheistic philosophy because they deny the existence of the Veda and then deny the existence of the Lord. So that's why we do not. But we accept him as a, because of the certain circumstances he came and established this philosophy. But we do not accept. We accept him, but we do not accept him atheistic philosophy. So similarly, here also we accept Krishna, we accept everything, but we do not accept that Karma Mimamsa philosophy which Krishna says, because he himself says in Bhagavad Gita, right? I will, You just surrender to me and I will wipe off, because he is the supreme authority. Nobody is going to question that why, Arey Lord, why did you change the karma of this person? Like that. Nobody can question Krishna. So like that. This is what I had to share for this verse. If anybody have any comment, question and realization, they can share so. But this is what has been talked about in this verse. And we have also taken the example of the thing which Prabhupada talks about the Rasa Leela and Shivas. So if anybody has any question, please, and comments and corrections, please feel free to share now. I'm hearing some noise. If somebody want to say anything. Okay, if not, then we'll go to the next verse. Let me get the next verse and I'll share my screen.
Hare Krishna Mataji, just want to get clarification. You said that the Rasalila pastimes are like children playing and seeing pastimes in the mirror, something like that. Where is it from, Mataji?
Mataji, actually, I've heard in the class, because this one Maharaj, he was saying about that, and earlier also I've heard that, it's like, because what's the explanation is, because Krishna is internal energy, right? All the gopis are his internal energy. So it's like he's like, if I have to do something, I have to call this person, that person, that person. But Krishna expand himself. I cannot expand myself and enjoy. But Krishna can expand himself. Krishna expanded as Radharani, and then Radharani expanded into these gopis. So he is playing within his own energies. So there is not something he's getting from outside. Like for us, it is not like that. So that's how it is. The Acharya is comparing. I don't know exactly from where it is, but I have heard in the class, and earlier also I remember hearing it. So it's like the child is playing with his own mirror image, because it's the energy of the Lord, not different from the Lord.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So I'll quickly share. We have 15 minutes, so I think we can cover one more verse. So this is 25th verse. Sakta karmani avidvamsho. You can repeat after me, and then we'll go to the word to word. Yatha kurvanti bharatah kuryahadidaham sata shaktas chikrishur loka sangraham shakta karmani avidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryadidaham sata shaktas chikrishur loka sangraham shakta karmani avidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata Dvitvaham Satha Shaktas Chikeshu Loka Sangraham. Anybody wants to recite?
Sakta karmani avidvamso
Karmani Avidvamsho
yata kurvanti bharata
Yatha Kurvanti Bharata
kuryad vidvams tata shaktas
Kuryatitva
Satha
Siddham
Shaktas
chikirshur loka sangraham.
Yashishe Loka Sangraham.
We
Can
can
I go next?
yeah, we can take one more and then we'll go to the word to
Sakta Kamani Avandanso
Avidvamsho.
Avidvansho
Sakta
Sakta karmani avidvamso
Yatha Kuranti Bharata
yata kurvanti bharata
Kuryad Vandam
Vidvams.
Vadvam Kuryadvams
Vidvams.
Vidvam Tam Shashi
Saktas.
Tata Sakta
Kuryat
kuryad vidvams tata shaktas
Jishe Loko Sangraham.
Krishur
chikirshur loka sangraham.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I will read word to word because in the interest of time, translation and purpose. Saktaha, being attached. Karmani, in prescribed duties. Avidvamshaha, the ignorant. Yataha, as much as. Kurvanti, they do. Bharata, or descendant of Bharata. Kuryat, must do. Vidvahams, the learned. Tathathas, asaktaha, without attachment. Chikikshru, desiring to lead. Loka Sangraham, the people in general. Translation and purport by Svendesh Prabhupada. As the ignorant perform their duty with attachment to result, the learned men similarly act but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. But a person in Krishna consciousness and a person not in Krishna consciousness are differentiated by different desires. A Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not conducive to development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act exactly like the ignorant person, which is too much attached to material activities. But one who is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his sense gratification, whereas the other is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, the Krishna conscious person is required to show the people how to act and how to engage the result of action for the purpose of Krishna consciousness. So here Krishna is talking about that he has stopped the theme of describing how I do the prescribed duty, or how the other example, like he took the example of Janak Maharaj and Adi the others. Now he came about there are two people. One is called Vidvams and another is called Avidvams. So Vidvams is the person who is ignorant, and Avidvams is the person. Avidvams is the person who is ignorant, and Vidvan means you know, right? The knowledgeable person. So here directly what Krishna is saying, that you should yatha kurvanti bharata, you should also do the duty as this ignorant person do. But how you should do, you should have the difference in the consciousness. So like we see this, there are two businessmen. So how can we identify that which businessman is the kind of a person who is Krishna conscious, and the other businessman is the kind of a person who is not businessman? Can anybody want to help me out with that? How does one identify? They are both doing the business, they are both dealing with the sales or whatever it is, you know. So how do you identify the difference between them? Any inputs? Okay, if not, then how do we differentiate is what is the result of their engaging in that business activity? Their result of engaging in the business activity is the fruit of their labor. So what is that fruit? At the end, they are receiving money. So how that money has been engaged, that's the big difference that comes about when we say that this person is Krishna conscious or is the Lord devotee, and this person is not. Because this a businessman will enjoy, you know, he'll get some money at the end of the month, or at the end of the 2 weeks after his business, he'll get some profit, and then he'll try to enjoy that profit in terms of money to on his on top I mean on his own sense gratification. So you know, he'll go here and there trying to enjoy whatever, you know, all these materialistic people do. Then he'll try to do that. And who is the person B? He's also businessman. He's also acting, he's also waking up early in the morning, attending, going to the business and engaging his money and then getting the profit. But what he's doing at the end of the day, he's engaging his money in Krishna's service, because money is very dear to all of us. Even Prahlad Maharaj say money is dearer than honey, because money is what is we have accumulated after spending the time in that activity. So people do not want to take part from their money. They do not want to. It's very hard for them or for us to give the money. So how this B businessman is engaging his money in the sense gratification, but how this B businessman is engaging his money, that ultimately that fruit which is coming, how he is engaging that, then we can understand that okay, this person is not foolish, and this person is foolish, is avidvamso. So what? Because this is pretty much clear, because who will be more ignorant, he will be more attached to his fruits. So more ignorant means he do not know that he is soul. He do not know anything about the spiritual activities, and he is foolish, ignorant, and that's why he's more attached. He's thinking all this has done by me, like that concept, and it should be engaged in my service, right? In my on me. Like that he will be thinking. And who is this Vidvams? Because he is Vidvams because he know his identity as a part and parcel of the Lord, and he know that he have to engage even though he is also working. So here it has been mentioned, Krishna is giving example to Arjuna, that as these people perform, ignorant people perform, you also perform the duty, but you perform it with the detachment, and when you perform with the detachment, then these people will be thinking, oh, this is also the man is engaging in business, but how he is engaging his money in Krishna's service. And then you lead the people in the right path, because that's the wrong path, engaging all your money in the sense gratification, or rather some of the money in sense gratification. That's a wrong path, because he'll be killer of the soul, right? He'll be going more and more into this darkness of this material existence when he'll do this kind of activity. So here Prabhupada also says in the purport, the difference in the desire, the consciousness is different. Right, the consciousness is different of this Krishna conscious person, and there's a person which is attached. So Krishna is trying to say here to Arjuna that you engage in the fight. See, Duryodhana is also engaging in the fight and Arjuna is engaging in the fight, but consciousness is different. Duryodhana want to enjoy and Arjuna is engaging in the service because lords want him to fight, and because that's a religious, he's a religious fight, and his prescribed duty is to fight. So that's consciousness difference is there. And here it is mentioned, but one is engaged in such activity for satisfaction of his senses, whereas the other engaged in the satisfaction of Krishna. So that's how you should also perform your duty, but you should be detached from the fruit, and you should teach other person how to be detached and how to be very much attached to the service of the Lord. Yeah, that's what this is there in this verse. Anybody wants to add anything for this verse or the previous verse which we talked, or any comment? We are right at the time, so we will not start the another verse. But this is two verses are saying. So now Krishna is giving the example here, and he's saying about the two person, how they work, Vidvamsa and Avidvamsa. Anything they want to share, any their realization, comment, corrections, they can share. Okay, if we do not have any comment, then we would like to end the class because we won't be able to start a new verse in just 4-5 minutes. So let us offer our obeisances to all of the Sambil Vaishnavas. Vancha
Vancha kripa sindhu bhe vajapatitam nam pavane Vishnuvebhyo namo
Namo
Krishna.
Namah. Gaudiya Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Bhagavad Gita ki
Krishna
jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
everyone for
Krishna
joining
everyone.
us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you have given us a nice class. Thank you for that.